and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. The 2017 NFL playoffs are here. Wild Card Weekend is here, and I am here to give you my picks and predictions for this week. Excited for playoff football, as I'm sure you are as well. Really quick though, on the SFE Picks Challenge, I will discuss the prizes, the top three, and everything at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. There will be a timestamp down below to tell you when I talk about that. So, because there's only 4 games this week, I will put more of an emphasis on against the spread, and I'll talk about these games much more than I normally would. This video still shouldn't be too long, but as I'm sure you know, I like to talk, so we'll just see how it goes. Let's start with the Saturday game, as we have the Houston Texans hosting the Oakland Raiders. This is a rematch of a matchup that took place in Mexico City in November, I believe, where the Texans lost a lead and lost a game in which there are a lot of funky calls and some other bad things that went their way. But man, this Texas team, they're going to win this game to me. You look at the Oakland Raiders, man. Last week, I picked them to win. I picked them to go to Denver and to get a huge victory in Denver, and they let me down big time. And I watched that game, and I could not believe how bad this team was offensively without Derek Carr. You saw the Denver Broncos absolutely stack the box with 8, 9, even a 10-man front I saw, and Latavius Murray be unable to get anything, and then Matt McGloy just throwing the ball in all sorts of directions. Now, he's not going to be starting. It will be Connor Cook. But Connor Cook is a rookie out of Michigan State, very inaccurate from time to time, and a guy that still needs a lot of work. If he was good, he'd be the backup instead of the third string. The one thing he can do is he can use his legs to extend plays and hopefully get some first downs for his football team. But Benardrick McKinney and Brian Cushing, the inside linebackers for the Houston Texans, will not let this guy get far. To me, the Texans are the pick here. I understand they're starting Brock Osweiler, and we don't love that. But when you look at this Texans team, they've won with Brock Osweiler. This is a team that went 9-7, went 7-1 at home. They can win with Brock Osweiler. They're not going to score many points. They'll score like 21 or 24. But this defense, this great defense, will absolutely stifle this Raiders offense. And Latavius Murray, although he can have some great games, like against the Kansas City Chiefs earlier this season, not against Kansas City Chiefs, actually, against the Denver Broncos and some other games, he's really not that great. You know, I've been really sitting down and watching his film lately. He's actually not that good, and he's only averaging 4 yards per carry. Lamar Miller of the Texans is going to get better production. You know, so the Texans, to me, they're winning in almost all facets of the game, except for wide receiver play. But the quarterbacks won't be able to throw it to these wide receivers for Oakland because they're not very good. So, to me, the pick is Houston, and when you look at against the spread, Houston is currently favored by 4 points. Take those points, man. I mean, my God, to me, I don't think this game is going to be very close. I have the Texans winning 24-10, and I may be generous there. So go ahead and take Houston against the spread. With that in mind, let's move to the Saturday night game. We have the Detroit Lions going to Seattle. And I've not been impressed with Seattle lately. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals in Week 16, and in Week 17, they barely won against the San Francisco 49ers. And in the fourth quarter, they did bench Russell Wilson. Okay, fine. But not impressed at all, man. However, they're at home, and they're a team that at home I've seen play very well, right? They blew out the Carolina Panthers 40-7. They had an impressive game against the Buffalo Bills. You know, they've had plenty of good games at home, so I like the Seahawks at home. Okay, I know they lost to the Cardinals, but that's a divisional thing, and the Cardinals still have the ability to play really well. They still have the talent to do so, so I won't put too much stock into that. However, when I look at the flip of the coin, the other side of the coin, look at the Detroit Lions. This is a team that now for 3 consecutive weeks has had a chance to show me and to show you and to show their fans and to prove to themselves that they can beat a playoff team, that they can beat a good team. And they have failed miserably, all 3. They lost by 11 to the New York Giants. I had them winning that game. They let me down. They lost by 21 to the Dallas Cowboys. I had them winning that game. Actually, no, I didn't. I had them covering that game, and they let me down. And then last week, against the Green Bay Packers, they lost by 7. Should have lost by 14. They let us down horribly, okay? You look back now at the other parts of the season, they lost to the Packers earlier in the season, they lost to the Titans earlier in the season, they beat the Vikings, yes, they beat the Vikings again, yes, but man, they don't really beat good teams. They beat the Bears, they lost to the Bears. This is a team that's just not good enough to go to Seattle and win. And then when you look at it against the spread, right now it's 8 points for Seattle, and many people are taking the Lions. I'm taking the Seahawks to cover the 8-point spread at home. They've been blowing some teams out like Carolina, and right now Detroit is not playing much better than Carolina. Not much better than Carolina. So go ahead and give me Seattle to win and take the -8 to me. Now let's move on to the Sunday games. Let's start with the 1 o'clock game, as we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to Pittsburgh and taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game will be cold, and for that reason, some people think it's going to be a little low scoring, but I don't buy into that at all. I've seen the Dolphins get into a number of shootouts this season. I think this will be another. I think this game will be 31-24, but in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers as they defeat the Miami Dolphins. And, for me, the reason being the Steelers have won 7 straight games. They're playing great, and their defense is playing better. They're not a great defense by any means, but it can limit the Dolphins to a certain extent, and their offense will do enough. You got to go with the experience here of Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger, and the Steelers team. This Dolphins team, although I really like where they're headed, and I love Adam Gase as their head coach, you really can't buy that they have any chance to win this game in Pittsburgh. Matt Moore being at quarterback, I don't care. I think he's just on par, exactly on par with Ryan Tannehill. I don't think he's better or worse at all. I think they're in the same freaking boat, right? Which is fine. But Jay Ajayi, although he had 3 monstrous games this season, hasn't been great lately. Still been good, hasn't been great. Not good enough to beat the Steelers. Give me the Steelers at home. But give me the Dolphins +10 because that's just way too many points. And the Steelers have shown an ability to not show up for certain games, like against the Denver Broncos, Tim Tebow a couple years ago, and this very season they lost to the Dolphins. This very season they lost to the Eagles. So, you never know with this team. At home they should win, but just in case, let's take the Dolphins +10. Let's move on to the final game, the biggest game, as we have the New York Football Giants traveling to Green Bay, taking on the Green Bay Packers. And man, let me tell you, this game is tough, because these two teams are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And you have to pick a team to lose here that could win the freaking Super Bowl. Not only could you get this game wrong, you could get your whole bracket wrong if you pick the wrong team here. Tough game. But I'm going to go with the defense. I'm going to go with the New York Giants. These two teams faced in week 5 of this season, and the Packers won that game. But the Giants were not able to sack Aaron Rodgers, and despite that, they still got Rodgers to throw 2 interceptions, something that he never does. They were able to get him to throw for a completion percentage under 60%, I believe. I have to check that, but it should have been under 60%. He was 26 to 45. That's about 60%, maybe a little below. They were able to slow them down. Eddie Lacy, though, caused them some problems. James Starks caused them some problems. They're not going to play this game. You're talking about Aaron Ripkowski and Ty Montgomery in the run game. So with this run game being worse now, with this Packers team being a little less healthy than they were then, because this was back when they were healthy, okay? Now this game, they're going to miss Quentin Rollins. Demarius Randall should play, but he'll be banged up. And this Giants team is playing way better than they were at that time. They've turned into one of the better teams in the NFL, especially defensively, as they held the Dallas Cowboys to 7 points. They held the Detroit Lions to 6 points. Last week, they held the Washington Redskins in Washington to 10 points. This is a fantastic defense in New York. They're 4 cornerbacks deep in Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, in Janoris Jenkins, who will be back for this game, in Eli Apple, in Leon Ho. And oh, by the way, if one of them gets injured, it's okay, because we have Trevin Wade, who will come in the game and do a pretty good job himself. There are 5 cornerbacks deep. This is a Giants defense that can slow down this Packers offense. Now, the one thing that does concern me, the linebackers. Can they remain disciplined? Can they watch as Aaron Rodgers pulls down the football, escapes the pocket, and rushes for first downs? That will be the key to the game. Another key to the game. Can they cover Jared Cook? Landon Collins is a very good coverage safety, very good pass rushing safety, just a damn good safety overall. Could be the defensive player of the year. But he is not nearly as tall as Jared Cook, who's standing at like 6'6", 200 and maybe 50 pounds, right? The guy's huge. Can they cover him? He's not great. He's a guy that can drop some passes. And God, he used to play for the Tennessee Titans, man. I know a lot about this guy. So can they cover him? I think they can. Okay, and if they can, to me, this game will be for the New York Giants. Eli Manning, though. You got to get the good Eli. And I have to have some faith here. I'm going off of the cliff a little bit, hoping that I survive by trusting Eli Manning. But as long as he can just hold on to the football, Paul Perkins, the running back for this football team, has been running well lately, really well lately. Last 3 games, rushing for over 4.5 yards per carry. Really like that. Just hand the ball off Eli, throw to Odell Beckham. There's not going to be a cornerback out there that can really stop Odell Beckham this Sunday. Give me the New York Giants and their defense to defeat the Green Bay Packers and their offense. And also against the spread, obviously, the Giants are +4.5. So give me that +4.5, and I love that. So when we look at my Guaran-damn-tees of the week, I only have 4. By the way, last week I went 4-3 for my Guaran-damn-tees. This is my betting picks of the week. So this week, again, I love the Texans -4. I love the over for the Dolphins and Steelers game. Right now it's at 46. To me, this will be a shootout. Even though it's going to be cold weather, I think it will be a shootout. I love the Giants +4.5. And I love the Seahawks -8. I really do. I think the Lions won't be close. They haven't covered the spread for 3 straight weeks against playoff teams. Why will they cover now? So give me those. Now, with that in mind, thus ends my picks and predictions. Now let's get to the SFE Picks Challenge part of the program. So the SFE Picks Challenge is over. Personally, I didn't win. I finished 71st, but this was out of a group of over 500 people. Although by the end of the season, only like 200 people were actually picking games still. But I'm proud of it, okay? So finishing in the top 3, I told you would get a prize, and a prize you shall receive. In first place is Chase Lab, and he pulled it out. 14-2 the final week. And the guy that went second place finished 2 points behind him, going 12-4. You want to know about Clutch Gene? That's pretty clutch, man. Going 14-2 when you need to most. Incredible. And one thing about picks is this is honestly a skill. And you know it because the guys at the top, they separated themselves early and they maintained it. If picking games was just luck, there would be a lot of fluctuation, but really these rankings have not been changing. I've been seeing Chase Lab, Goff Chise in their positions. My position has not changed more than 20 spots. I mean, picking is a skill. I've really learned that this year. So winning the league is Chase Lab. Second place was the Goff Chise, who had been in first place early on but lost it eventually to Chase Lab. And finishing in third place was KY9. Now the Goff Chise and KY9 did end up with the same amount of points, but the first tiebreaker is the week 17 points, and that went to the Goff Chise. Personally, I'm happy because I was able to beat someone whose name was MJ's ass, so I'd be able to prove him wrong. Whose ass now, boy? I was also able to beat some other players as well that I wanted to beat, but next year I'm coming for the top prize, and I'll make sure I'll give the prize to myself. But that will be next year. Again, we will do this next year because I've heard some people ask about that. So for those of you that finished in the top 3 of the SFE Picks Challenge, listen closely. First of all, let's discuss prizes. So here are the 3 prizes that I came up with. And remember, guys, I'm broke. Okay, I'm a 20-year-old college student that goes to a college that costs $60,000 a year. This is the best that I can do, but it's not that bad. Okay, so number 1, we have an option to get whatever you want on NFLshop.com that is under $35. You tell me whatever you want. I don't care what you want. You just tell me what you want. Send me the link. I'll send it to your ass. Okay, I'm going to put your address in. I'll send it to your ass. We look at The next option, a $20 gift card, e-gift card to Amazon.com. And then the final one being a video request. I will do whatever video you want me to do. You're going to give me 3 options ranked from best to worst, and I'm going to pick one. I will probably pick your best one unless if I just think it's not very good and it's not going to be entertaining. If you tell me, hey, make a video on why Cody Core is going to be a good NFL wide receiver, I'm not going to do that. Who cares? I'm sorry. Pick something that some people would like to see. And if you want a shout out in that video as well, let me know. So the way this is going to work, if you finish in the top 3, this is what you're going to do. And I want to do this to protect from fraud. I've had a couple of people message me saying, hey, I won the league. And I know, hey, I don't think all y'all won the league. So here's what we're going to do. Go to the Pigskin Pick'em Challenge group, and I have a link to it in the description box below. Go to the group chat, and I want you to put either your Twitter username or your YouTube username or link or whatever, the best place to contact you, your email address. I don't care. Give me the best place to contact you, and then we'll go through 1 through 3, and I'm going to ask the first place winner, hey, congratulations, what do you want? And of the 3 prizes, you get to pick. The second place prize, hey, you won the second place prize. This is what the first place person picked. You have these 2 options. Pick your option, and then the third place, you get whatever's left, okay? So it allows you to have a lot of freedom here, right? You get to pick whatever you want on NFLshop.com if you pick that prize. You get to pick whatever you want on Amazon.com if you pick that prize. And finally, you get to just make a video request on whatever you want. So I'm giving you guys a lot of freedom. You guys deserve it. I don't want to pigeonhole you to, oh, hey, here you go. Here's a stupid shirt, right? I mean, who cares? I'm giving you a lot of freedom here. We're all NFL fans, so I think that's a good prize. And I'm not personally sending it to you because I think that's kind of dumb when people do that. Like, why would you do that? We have Amazon right in front of our faces. We have all these websites right in front of our faces. Why don't I just pay for it and just send it to you? That's a great idea to me. I think I'm a genius. So there you go. Thus ends my picks and predictions for the wild card round, and thus ends the SFE Picks Challenge part of the program. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.